chair, put up a seat, yeah. Welcome to the Atheist Round Table. We just the dudes that you knew for poking holes in all these fables. Yeah. See, we just some atheists that got questions like, why does God kill babies with cancer? Hopefully, you can bring some answers. We'll sit back and take notes. Go ahead. Welcome to the Atheist Round Table. Welcome to the Atheist Round Table. Okay. Turn it up, turn it up.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Atheist Round Table. And this is the Friday night version of the call-in show. And I got a couple of new faces as far as the Friday night call-in show is concerned. They're not new faces at all to the channel, but first time, I think, for the Friday night show. Well, we'll start. I'm Oz. You guys already know that. Fuck that guy. Shane is a regular face on our call-in shows. But Shane, what's happening, man?
Same old. Everybody watching, you probably recognize me. I'm Shane the Skeptic. I read books and pretend to be smart. That's my thing. And now I do this call-in show. So that's all that matters about me.
and it's I was like, yeah, Shane, you can definitely be a part of the channel and what we're doing, because I need other people that are like me and just pretend to know something while not actually knowing anything.
I'm getting pretty good at like pretending to be smart.
Yeah, me too. Well, unless you ask Darth. Darth says I'm probably the dumbest atheist on YouTube. So I got that going for me.
I was recently called the dumbest atheist someone had ever met. And I kind of thought about it for a second. And it was like, I know it might sound like I'm over complimenting myself here, but if I'm the dumbest atheist you've met, I think that you're giving a little bit of a compliment to atheists as a whole, because like, I assure you, there are atheists that are much dumber than me. I've met them, but whatever.
When I heard it, I was like, winning.
I mean, you know you're dumber than someone when that person tells you that you're dumber than them. That's how you know.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. But Sonny, welcome to the Friday night call-in show. First time. Good to have you. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm like the fire coordinator, shenanigans coordinator, firewalker.
Sonny's
of all things Sunny.
Sonny's just an all-around badass. Yeah, for sure. And then she just walked on fire the other day. She was joining a cult, and while she was doing it, she sang a little ditty that walking on sunshine, and then she got to the sunshine, and I think her feet were burning.
Yeah, I started screaming. I screamed, "Oh my god!" That's okay. I only had a few blisters on my feet. That's all right. And the only reason I sang was because Oz told me to. And what Oz says, you fucking do.
Well, that's like a terrible note. Notes sound like we're a cult.
Do we get to sacrifice a lamb? And if so, do we eat it? Because I like lamb.
I was about to say, if we get to eat the lamb, yeah, absolutely. That's
the one way that someone might be able to trick me into joining a cult is through the means of lamb. If it's already cooked and it smells good, and you might be able to talk me into joining your cult on that one circumstance. You already have some smoked lamb ribs.
And then if there's bacon, it's a done deal. Like,
I'm gonna see if there are any cults nearby that do that. My phone, my phone's over there on the charger. Okay, I'll do that later.
And then, well, last but not least, before we introduce the last guest, so there's this book that just came out. It is the Atheist Handbook. The Atheist Handbook to the Old Testament. I was thinking of the other book's title and got it mixed up. The Atheist Handbook to the Old Testament by Dr. Joshua Bowen. And you'll notice right there, you see it right there on the bottom? It says Volume 1. Sonny, what's that usually tell us?
That means there's going to be a number 2 coming.
Yeah, yay. All right, guys. Well, we have, Dr. Josh is here. That was weird.
You guys are amazing.
I was going to say, let's ask him what it means.
Oh, man. So, Dr. Josh is with us. How you doing, sir?
Tired.
Yeah, that dad life is tough anyway, but then when there's twinsies,
And I don't feel like I'm doing all that much, man. Megan's pulling all the weight. Just kind of watching her and being tired.
I was about to say, sometimes it's watching them, the mom makes you tired. It's like, how are you doing this? Well, you and I, last time you were on, last week, that's one thing. Moms, like, shout out, because you have the most difficult job on the planet, especially when it's a newborn. Oh my God. Yeah, I might have jumped off the nearest tall building. I couldn't do it, but anyways, let's see who's in the chat here. Let's see who's in the chat before we get going. Oh, speaking of Mrs. Oz, the one and only beautiful Mrs. Oz. And then we got to follow it up with Eddie. Jeez, no, I'm kidding. What's up, Eddie? Kendra's in the house, and you're asexual atheist, Amy. Woohoo! Amy's here. Donna, always here supporting. Aunt Kathy. Oh, you know what? I'm glad that Aunt Kathy's here because there's something coming. Aunt Kathy's going to have a show. Oh.
Huh. That is...
Teaser. Little teaser.
Intrigued about that.
Little teaser there. Sunny Shell's in the chat. Oh, no. Sunny Shell's with us. Sorry.
I'm everywhere.
Jaded Atheist, what's up? Ray, how you doing? Michaela, what's up? Good to see you here. I go hang out with Michaela on Bars channel, and we start the ruckus over there. I don't see anybody else, but thank you guys for jumping in and hanging out with us. Kyle Brewer, if you're still here, what up, homie? There's more here at the bottom that jumped in. John Christian, what's up? Nightbot, that's my homie. Nightbot is my fucking dude, man. Because if it wasn't for Nightbot, I would forget to post everything. So Nightbot's got my back. All right, we're good. I think we got everybody. So what's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out. So the phone lines, let me get the little banner up here, and y'all can call in if you want. I'll tell you what the topic is here in 1 second, because there's not really a topic. It's going to be general. But there's the number 260-225-3868. And call in. And tonight's kind of an open chat. If you're a theist and you have a deeply held belief, or and you want to talk about that, or maybe you become skeptical, or you're asking questions, you have hesitations, we'd love to talk to you about that. I think there's 2 or 3 other shows right now that are taking calls on aliens, so we'll pass on that. And then if you're an atheist and you have questions, maybe there's an argument that you've come up against, and you want advice or strategy. We have 4 different styles here that would be great as far as helping. Oh boy. But no, if you're
I have a justified true belief that he isn't.
Yeah, and I can pretty much prove he's not my son. There is, I won't name any names, but there's one on another channel, one guy, every time I'm in the chat, he's like, "Oh, Oz is my dad," and I'm like, it just sounds weird every time you say it. I mean, I know what he means, and I know it's he looks up to me, or whatever, but it feels like, no, I'm your friend. But 260-225-3868, please call so we don't have to talk about who I'm a dad. Shame didn't come from my womb because we are both young. I don't understand that one. Sorry, babe. Does anybody else get that one?
Nope.
Okay. And the super chat for $4.99. Thank you, Donna. Show us Aunt Kathy's poster again. We sure will. I have a feeling that Dr. Josh and his book are now going to have some competition. No, I'm looking for it. In the first episode, we don't have a date for it yet. We're working on the date. It'll be really centered around indoctrination, indoctrination and experience growing up in church, what that looks like, maybe the abuse or the trauma, things that are related to that, and then going into the deconstruction and deconstruction, deconversion, and then I think most importantly that a lot of people don't talk about is the reconstruction, and finding a new purpose or finding new things to do that you're passionate about that aren't God related anymore, and to help fill those passions and in a whether it's creativity or whatever it is, and doing that. And
that's an important step for people. I'm glad you mentioned that. I like the way you worded it too. What isn't talked about enough is the reconstruction.
Yeah. Yep. And Aunt Kathy, she said that to me several times, and I told her, I said I absolutely agree. It's not talked about enough, and I think that's something we need to hone in on some more. But it'll be
right.
It'll be Aunt Kathy, and then Catherine, and oh Jesus, I just lost her last name. Oh, I feel like shit right now. Roberts, Catherine Roberts, and then Kelly, or you guys would know her as oh man, I'm just going brain dead tonight. Atheist Granny, and then Dave Warnock. So it'll be a four-person roundtable conversation, and that I'm looking forward to. I think it's gonna be awesome. So yeah, I'm glad you guys are excited too. Great. Wow, there's all kinds of shit being said about Oz in the chat. Thanks, babe.
Yeah. It says Oz is actually, I don't want to see the way she put it. I lost it. Oh yeah, not skilled in reconstruction. He makes me fix the things. So Oz is IKEA your kryptonite?
Fuck IKEA.
I feel it.
No, if I have any actual like tool in my hand, a hammer, screwdriver, a wrench, just assume I'm breaking it. Whatever it is, just assume I'm breaking it. I'm not fixing anything. I'm not building anything. Just assume that shit's getting broken. But anyway, it'd be nice if we get a call now. 260-225-3868. If not, I guess this is going to turn into an Oz Fest or Oz Roast Fest.
That's actually better.
Yes, Jesus Christ.
Actually, speaking of that, if you want to call in to roast Oz, 260-225-3868.
Yeah, so we have a best-selling author with us on screen. So let's at least pretend like we know what we're doing here on this channel. So, Dr. Josh, how are book sales going? How's everything going with the new book?
Yeah, it's I think I checked it yesterday morning or yesterday evening. It's still #1 in atheism, #1 in Christian Old Testament and Hebrew Bible, and #1 in like Christian studies or something. So it's doing pretty well. Thanks to you guys.
Well, we try to do a small, I'm sure it's not just us, but we try to play a small part in the making sure that the atheists have their handbook. The atheists need their damn handbook. So, and if you guys don't know what we're talking about right now, Josh just released a new book.
I think I've seen that somewhere.
Yeah, it's if you can see it there, the Atheist Handbook to the Old Testament. And here I'll move my hand so you can see it. That's Dr. Joshua Bowen, right? And it's not awkward at all that he's on screen right now and we're doing this. And then if you notice down at the bottom, there's a little, it's catchy. He tried to sneak it in there. He said Volume 1, meaning what, Sonny?
Means there's gonna be a #2.
Yeah, dog.
I caught some flack today from somebody. If you look at the back, we got 3 recommendations for it. One from Joel Baden, Dr. Joel Baden from Yale, and then one from Francesca Stavrakopoulos from Exeter, and one from Aaron Ra. And I thought Aaron's was important because it's it's an atheist handbook, right? So I mean, I thought it was a good thing for a very popular and influential atheist to say something about it, right? And like, this isn't a scholarly work. You know, what PhD does Aaron Ra have in Old Testament studies? I was like, what? Okay, I feel like we're missing what's going on here. But
And that's where you sing him that song. Was it one of these things are not like the other?
I just said, I don't fuck with you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hear you.
No, there's a point where I've come to find that some of the criticism you're gonna get online, like some of the shit that people have to say, it's like it's so ridiculous and absurd that it's like, what are you even mad about? You know, I used to care twice as much about per se people's opinions. I'm still interested in them, but I don't know, when you get some criticism and it's something just ridiculous like that, I don't know, it's just it becomes easier to dismiss as you go because it's just silly.
I love you too, sweetheart. No, on a serious note, Ray said, my theist friend just told me he bought your book, Josh. So I pointed him to this video. Wow.
Awesome.
All right, guys, let's get professional. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Gonna have to have some caffeine to become professional.
Dr. Josh said a bad word.
Yeah, but it was in a song, so I mean, I feel like it was okay.
Yeah.
It was in context.
It's at least more acceptable in a song.
It feels so good to be a gangster. Well, 260-225-3868.
Come on, people, call in. We want to take some calls.
Yeah, there's 20-some of y'all watching. You don't know how to use your smartphone all of a sudden? Do it. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to play some music, background music, so it's not dead in here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That works out.
Oh, that was loud. Don't count in songs. Oh. I
was going to say you should play the new Horseman album, but can't really do that, can you?
Yeah, that would mean demonetized.
Pretty quickly.
So, Oz, if we act professional, are we being inauthentic? If we aren't actually professional, that's something I've always kind of wondered about. Like if I try to make myself come off as being professional, and I know that I'm not really professional, is that inauthentic?
See, I think trying to act professional makes you professional.
Okay, so it's one of those fake
Professional is
until you
just a
make it
way of-
things.
Yeah, just a way of being, a way of thinking. It's the way you present yourself.
Okay.
Hello?
Hey, it's Michaela from in the comments.
What's up, Michaela?
Hey.
Hey guys.
What's
I'm
up,
kind
girl?
of new to this whole conversation, so before we get started, can we define what a theist actually is?
Yeah, a theist is somebody who believes in at least one God.
Okay, so I'm like, so they believe in at least one God. So wouldn't that be defined as a religious person?
No. So there are religions that are atheistic, but the overwhelming majority of religions are theistic. But theism and atheism in themselves are not religions.
Right.
Okay, so it's like theist, like I'm spiritual, but I don't believe in one particular God type of situation.
So if somebody like that can be a theist, but somebody can be a theist without being in that exact category. So there are some theists who are known as what's called deists. There's something called deism, and that's the belief that there was a God that made the universe to begin with, but they don't believe in divine intervention or miracles or anything like that. So they believe in God as like a creator, but they don't believe in a God that you could have a personal relationship, pray to, etc.
And then there are atheists
Okay.
who say that they're spiritual, don't necessarily believe in a deity, but believe in some type of supernatural.
Yeah, that's a thing too.
Yeah, so just to have some clarity here, so it's not confusing, Michaela. I looked up the definition. So theism defined as belief in the existence of a god or gods, especially belief in one God as creator of the universe, intervening in it and sustaining a personal relation to his creation or creations. And then let me get religion real quick. And religion, the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods. So that's why, for me, and I understand what Shane was saying, so I'm not saying I necessarily disagree with that, but I think that's where sometimes with definitions it can get a little confusing, because when I hear that, when I hear theist, yes, I think of a religious person, as far as at least for a monogod. Would I be in line with you guys on that?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
When I hear theist, I hear that as yes, they are a religious person, but the religion would be based on a monogod, not a deist or.
No, I wouldn't agree with that, because if somebody says that they're theist, that only means that they believe in at least one god. Now, I would presume them to be monotheist over polytheist. Polytheist being people who believe in more than one god, because that's just because of the fact that most of the theists I encounter are monotheist. So if I encounter another theist, I might expect them to be monotheist as opposed to polytheist. But somebody can be they could believe in some like polytheistic council that created the universe, a few separate beings that worked together in some way or another. So I feel like, I have a friend who is not religious, but he believes in a god. And ever since like talking to me about what all of the terms meant, if someone asks him about his belief, he'll tell them, I'm theist, but I'm not religious. And that's to clarify, I believe in God, but I don't believe in any particular religious god.
Okay, that's fair. Better explained there. All right, so hopefully we have defined terms there, Michaela. So what would be your next question? That way we're not just talking to each other.
Yeah.
You there, Michaela? Did you mute yourself, Michaela?
I hope I didn't bore her away.
She fell asleep.
That's the thing about me. I'm either not talking at all, and then I start, and I just can't shut up once I get started.
It says she's still on the line.
Oh. Yes, I'm right here.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. All right. Did you? Now that we kind of have some definitions out there, did you have? It sounded like you had another question or two.
Oh no, that I wanted to define the definition so we can have context for the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Did that help you? Hearing Shane and I, and then him.
I mean, it helped. Yes.
Okay, so now that you heard it, did you have any follow-up questions on there to help you out as you continue to have conversations with other Christians or theists?
No, but I definitely might call back in depending on how the conversation goes.
Okay. Yep, and you're more than welcome to. Yeah, and we want people if I know on Ballz channel we have these kind of conversations all the time. We're all learning, all getting better together. So if there's things you hear and you have questions, we want to be able to help, even help the atheists. Like, how can I get better? How can I improve? So yeah, you're always welcome to call.
All right, thank you, Oz.
Thanks, Michaela. Go girl. Yeah, I talk to her and Bar all the time over on his channel, and they're fun, man. They're a riot. But real quick before we move on, we did have a super chat question for I guess there's an author with us. I wasn't aware, but he did. He wrote this book that just came out. If you guys haven't seen it, and it's called the Atheist Handbook to the Old Testament, and it's by Dr. Joshua Bowen. And if you didn't know, this isn't the only book. The one before this was did the Bible endorse, or I'm sorry, did the Old Testament endorse slavery, also by Dr. Joshua Bowen. Now, the difference between that one and this one is this one says volume 1 on the bottom. The other one doesn't. And Sonny, when we see that, what do we usually think's next?
It usually means there's going to be number 2.
I like how Oz is careful not to ask me after the last time.
Yeah, you put it. Real quick, we get the super chat in here. $4.99 from Asexual Atheist. Thank you very, very much for the support. Dr. J. Ooh, I like that. I think I'm going to have to start using that. Dr. J, when writing that book, what was the most intriguing part to you?
When I was writing the chapter on Did Moses Write the Pentateuch, when I got to some of the contradictions, right? That's mostly what the chapter is about, is looking at the literary inconsistencies and contradictions that you see in the text. And when I got to Genesis 1 and 2, the flood story in Genesis 6 through 9 is very interesting to me. I didn't expect there to be, even from the evangelical commentators, I didn't expect there to be such a strong attempt at harmonization in so many of them. It's very interesting. So, for example, in the 2 creation accounts that are kind of brought together in the canonical form to try to make what appears to be a single story, you have the animals are created in Genesis 1, and then only after the animals are created is mankind created. But in Genesis 2, you have Adam created, and then the animals are created and brought before him to try to find a helper, and then nothing is found, and so God creates Eve. And to reconcile that, because you've got the order is animals and then man, whereas in Genesis 2, it's man and then animals for a specific purpose for the man. And the way that one reconciled, I think it was Victor Hamilton, reconciled it by saying, well, maybe these were animals. God had already created all the animals, but then these were special Garden of Eden animals. And it's like, do what? I mean,
so the dinosaurs were basically reprobates.
I guess that's one way of looking at it. It's just very strange. It's very strange.
And it's to be, dinosaurs are reprobates. That's my new takeaway. Sorry.
I mean, you could do this, you could do that sort of harmonization, but the thing is, at some point you have to say, are we going to go with what's possible, but we don't have any evidence for, or are we going to go with what makes the most sense? It's highly likely, given what we do know about it. So,
yeah. I mean, one of the biggest problems I have is even if you took out all the ridiculous aspects of like fitting the animals on the ark, the fact that 8 people could never possibly manage a zoo, let alone every species of animal on the planet at once. I mean, even if you just start with the basic, like, okay, if you're to tell me that you have a predator and that predator's prey in the same room for a long period of time, and the predator doesn't eat the prey, I would have to see that to believe it. That's one of those claims where I have more than induction, but induction alone is good enough, because induction is in fact a form of reason. In every case that I have, if you lock a predator in a room with its prey, that predator is going to eat its prey. Whether this was a coyote and a rabbit or a lion and a gazelle, they're not just going to call a truce for a few days, for 100 days or what have you.
And see, this is sort of the interesting thing about the book, and about that chapter in particular, is it's it's designed to go a little more broadly. So it's not designed to argue things like that, right? If we take it out of the Hebrew Bible, take it out of the Old Testament, and go to the Epic of Gilgamesh. Like the Epic of Gilgamesh is a phenomenal story, and it's really neat from a literary standpoint just to watch the different movements and to see how Gilgamesh develops from this sort of brash young man who's going out there to kill, Humbaba, to really thinking about his mortality and learning how to live in this life to the fullest. It's a really interesting story, but generally speaking, we don't feel the need to say, now let me show how ridiculous it is that a bull from heaven was brought down by Ishtar that Gilgamesh and Enkidu could kill, right? And that by snorting, that bull could snort up half of, the river Euphrates or something. I mean, like nobody feels the need to lay down how that doesn't work. And
yeah,
it's
that's
because
one
we
of those
recognize
good examples of the burden of proof and why it's a thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I think even in a more basic way, I think it's because we recognize the genre. We recognize what this story is doing. It's a mythological text, and we understand that. We understand that it's telling a deeper story, and we don't want to interpret it in a way where we're actually thinking about, in the third millennium, there's this guy Gilgamesh who was 2/3 divine, running around with his buddy Enkidu, killing bulls from heaven and monsters out in the cedar forest. Or racing the sun through a tunnel to the ends of the earth, right, to see the flood survivor. We recognize that there's something else of value there other than just a literal reading of it. And this is where I think step one to getting maybe more fundamentalist Christians to sort of look a different direction, so that you don't even have to make those types of arguments, is to say, look, let's try to get away from some of these basic problems, like Moses wrote this thing. Let's just get away from it. Here's why this isn't possible. That one guy in the 15th century wrote this thing. And if we can do that, I know for me and for a lot of people that, I've interacted with that were fundamentalist evangelicals growing up, if you can put a chink in the armor with something like Moses, it doesn't take a lot more to then have somebody just take a step back and go, all right, maybe I've just been misinterpreting all of this. Maybe I've been misunderstanding how this is supposed to work. So that's what the goal is.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to locate.
You weren't listening. It's fine. I get it, man.
No, I was. I was trying to.
And Sonny was probably trying to be sneaky, eating some more of that treat. I get it. Yeah.
Well, I can't eat any more of it. My dog decided to eat it, so stealing everything from me. So, but I'm listening to you. I promise.
Goddamn fucking computer. Do what I tell you to do. You're worse than my kids. Oh,
Yeah.
I just kind of like the ding. It's like it's singing to us.
dang.
Ding.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to bring up in the comments, there was in the live chat, there was a discussion about Hinduism and whether Hinduism was monotheistic or polytheistic. Somebody said both. And then I saw that we have a former Hindu who's an atheist in the chat. So I want to see if you agree with me or not. But my understanding, now that I've studied Hinduism a little bit more, not very much at all, but upon talking to Hindus, what I found is when they say that there are multiple different gods, one way of interpreting it is they say that those are all separate faces of the same God. So it's kind of the same thing as in Christianity. You have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And, some people are going to be Trinitarians and say it's three beings. And then some people are going to be Unitarians and say that it's one. But then most people are going to have like just their own take on how they're both three and one at the same time. And it seems like Hinduism works in the same kind of way.
All right, I got it.
Shane, I think you're probably close to the truth. I'm not as familiar with Hinduism as I am with Buddhism, but they're kind of similar. And Buddhism is kind of the same way. There's bodhisattvas and so forth. They're godlike, but they're not exactly gods. They're more like people who have well, at least in Buddhism, it's people who have reached nirvana and have stayed back to kind of help the rest of us. But they've reached that place where they're kind of godlike. Okay. And even Buddha wasn't a god. He was
Nirvana.
A person.
I fucking love Nirvana.
Yeah, Nirvana's pretty cool. I agree. But I think that Hinduism and Buddhism are very similar in that.
Well, yeah, Buddhism stems from Hinduism, right? I think it's that way and not the other way around. Hinduism predates Buddhism. I'm pretty confident in that. I could be wrong, though. So, just a quick reminder to everybody that I don't know that much. So,
well, AK says the bot has atavists are people who delay their nirvana to come back to Dave other people.
Well, thanks for daving people.
Next time I'm hanging out with Warnock, I'm gonna be like, you just got daved.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Because Dave's pretty awesome. I'd come back to Dave somebody.
Yeah, go get daved. Dave you. We're gonna start that hashtag Dave you. And before I throw up the funny picture here, if you guys have not seen it, Seth Andrews just released like a little like short, like I would almost call it like a biography on Dave. And if it doesn't like punch you in the gut or punch you in the chest or hit you in the feels, whatever it is, watching it, God damn it, you're not human. You're just not human. And if you haven't seen that, go check out Seth's channel. I think he released it either yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday or the day before. And I mean, obviously I already love Dave and respect him and look up to him, but getting to hear him go through it in that kind of a format, like you got to see the kind of the ups and downs and the emotions and the, kind of the roller coaster that he has to deal with on a daily basis with ALS and all that. And like I said, if that doesn't slap you in the face, and it'd be like, we take it for granted. He's on a clock. Like he already knows, like we could go tomorrow, but we didn't have a doctor tell us like this is it. Like you're on your final, this is your final act. And then, it's about curtain time, and to hear him talk about it, T and I it was the second time I watched it. We were together and I was like, it makes me appreciate that man even more, the way he's approached it and the way he's treating it. So if you haven't watched it, go fucking watch that.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love his motto, Carpe the fucking diem. All about living life. And, when you are faced with your mortality in that kind of a way, you live life. He is fantastic.
Yeah. And the one thing that I thought was, what do you want to say? It's profound or insightful in that documentary or whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. As he was talking about, he started meeting people from these different groups, for ALS or, variety of, terminal illnesses or diseases. He was like, we would be talking and they're spending their every moment, like just trying to survive. Like they just want to, they want to make it the next day. He was like, I'm just trying to live while I'm here. I don't have the energy to just try to hang on. I just want to do everything I can do that I wanted to do while I was here. And that's how I'm going to spend, the rest of the energy that I do have. And I was like, damn it. I wish all of us thought that way, but we do, we take it for granted because we think, I probably got another 40 years, or whatever. I probably don't, but, I got 30, 40 years, whatever. So yeah, go watch it if you haven't watched it. It's a great document. Like I said, document. It's not an interview, like documentary or biography or whatever. It's fucking awesome. but now that I took the whole stream to a whole nother emotional, serious standpoint, let's just stop for a second and remind ourselves that this is still the Atheist Roundtable, the Atheist Network Group, and we're great at just moving things back to the comedic side. So I don't know if you guys know this guy, but his brother, his brother's on screen with us right now, and he loves to. They sound just alike. They sound just alike, and he loves to freestyle. He loves. You would never look at that face. Look at that face. Does that face say, "I drop bars"? I drop bars. No, it doesn't. But Dr. Josh, the other Hoven, you guys love to drop bars, don't you?
Well,
Your face doesn't say that either, Oz. But if it did, it would be lying.
All right, I guess I can.
You need to be.
No, it's. I don't know that I can. I'm too tired to make something up, but I could do the other one.
or you can just, if you want to talk shit about Shane, it doesn't matter.
So I'll do the one that I know.
Just
It's
leave
good.
the globe out of it.
Oh, well, my name's Kent Hoven. Call me Dr. T-Rex. I don't get evolution. It's too darn complex. Guess I should take some time to read a book or two. But there ain't no making money learning something new. I was a high school teacher. Science is my game. If you step to me, I'll put you all to shame. There ain't a doggone thing my PowerPoint can't solve. I've got a million slides that never have evolved. Those atheists are living in a hazy fog. They know a dog never could produce a non-dog. Water otters hating on my rhymes. Creationist OG, the first of my kind. See what I did there? Should help.
That was fantastic. Oh my god.
That was amazing.
You sounded just like him. that was so good. You even had the doctor.
Dog can't produce a non-dog. Yeah,
And
damn.
I love the end because that's actually like something that Owen would say, like, see what I did there? Like, no, motherfucker, we all saw what you did there. Like he was being sneaky.
And you said you're tired. If you can do that when you're tired, I would hate to see you when you're like completely on point. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
That's not true. Someone said atheists won't have anything to mock if there's no religion, but there's all kinds of things. I don't know if you consider astrology a religion, but that's worth mocking. There are things like alternative medicine, homeopathy, naturopathy. There are just so many things out there that are worth mocking. Religion's one of them.
Oils, MSMs.
Yeah.
And I think some of that, when people say mocking, like it makes me pause for a second because I'm not, and maybe I am, and I'm being, what's the word I want? I'll find the word in a second. But to me, it's there was so much harm done to me and others that I know by religion. It's not always about mocking or anything. It's the humor and laughter helps you to process and heal, and so all of these things that are at one stage in my life were so fucking serious to me, right? And I held them so closely to me, and they defined me. It was my my definition, my ID, how I identified in life was through that book, through that religion. It helps now to be able to have fun with it, and
right. Well, I'd say mockery has its place.
And it's important to note that it's not mocking or making fun of the individual, but ideas and beliefs absolutely should be questioned, mocked, or anything else. That's important. If they're not grounded in reality, in sufficient evidence, and people are living their lives and making decisions based on those irrational beliefs, then they absolutely should be pointed out and
Yeah.
Yeah, truth. One of my and we used to have it all the time on our outro for months and months and months. That Pasta Mike had it on one of our outros. That truth does not fear investigation. So if you are worried about or fear or don't like the fact that we investigate or we prod or we poke, one way or the other, if something is true or stands, should stand alone as true, it shouldn't fear any of us coming along and either in a serious manner or a funny manner, even if somebody's a smartass, shouldn't fear that the pushback or the investigation. And I just want to throw this up here real quick. And I think as a panel here, we can address this because I think this is so far-fetched. And AK, I love that you show up and you support and all this, but this one is like way out in left field to me. Yes, but you would not have the atheistic cult that comes together and rant against religion. Well,
you named that cult because I haven't heard of it actually.
Let's look at the bite model. I mean,
unless you're referring to groups like this and you're saying that a group like this is a cult, but then I would have to ask you what your criteria for concluding that a group is or isn't a cult is, and what criteria is it that we match? Because there's nothing about any groups that I've seen similar to this one where if you leave, if you're part of the group, you should disown people who aren't involved in it. Or, if I left the group for whatever reason, there isn't some rule where everybody has to disown me and never talk to me again because I'm no longer a member because I'm what's the fucking word when somebody leaves? Apostate. So, I mean, I would just that's one of those statements where it's like, okay, if you're going to call anything similar to this a cult, then I need you to talk about what you think a cult is because your use of the word conveys that you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. That's exactly right. Because we hear all the time that atheists are just like any other religion, and not every religion is a cult. Atheist just is one thing. It just means that we do not have enough evidence to believe in a god or gods. That's it.
Right.
You can believe in all kinds of other hooky, kooky, woo crap things if you are an atheist. That's all that it means.
Not every atheist is a skeptic. And I get
exactly
reminded of that all the time.
There's some idiot atheists. There's some intelligent atheists. But there is absolutely no dogma, no book, no organizing theme behind atheism.
Right. Well, I would also add that somebody can be atheist and in a cult. That's possible. But, it's the same way somebody can believe in God and be in a cult. That doesn't mean belief in God is in itself a cult. Not believing in God, I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Dr. Josh, any thoughts on that before I go off the deep end? I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'm interested to see this October when we talk about doing this better. I'm interested to see the ways that we sort of wrestle with that, because I think it's true that it can come across on both sides. Obviously, that it's sort of lines are drawn. You have Team A against Team B, and the only reason that Team A exists is to rail against Team B, and vice versa. I think a lot of times there's obviously a lot of nuance to that, but I'm interested to see how we wrestle with, I don't know, doing it better. Because there's something to say about it.
Well, when you look at it, especially in the United States in particular, we are have a secular government, but we really are. We have a predominantly Christian population. And the problem is that in, your beliefs inform your actions. And so that's the only reason that we have so many atheist activists right now, is because we are constantly, you look at the Freedom from Religion Foundation, they're constantly having to go forward with different legal measures because people are trying to push against, our rights to be secular, to not have to live within religion. So, you look at some other countries that are more secular in their population, and atheism isn't even a thing. So, if you kind of look at it from that perspective, AK also said, for what good reason do atheists come together? There is nothing that atheists come together on. I mean, there really isn't.
Well, I would say people who are atheists, there are people who are atheists like us who are interested in what I would really call anti-theist activism. But that is a group of people within atheists, because not every atheist is an anti-theist. Some of us who are atheists also have this belief that theism is unhealthy, or at least I have that belief. Many atheists don't have that belief. I believe that a belief in God is bad for you. And because of the fact that I have that belief, I would like to do my part to give people the tools necessary to get out of that belief. I don't expect all interlocutors who have that belief to get out of it, just like I don't expect every interlocutor who's a conspiracy theorist to lose that belief. But they start getting some critical thinking tools and skills to add to their thought process and take away what they can from it. So, in all honesty, like when I can't deny that I would like to deconvert people, but I never expect to deconvert any of my interlocutors. But I am hoping that there are people in the audience listening that are on the fence that hopefully I can help lean a little bit closer to my position on that. Because again, like I said, if you believe that a particular belief is unhealthy, then you would probably want as few people to hold that belief as possible. So you would probably try to do what you could to make it the case that less people believed in it. So that's where I stand. But like I said, the emphasis should be on the point where atheists don't all agree with everything I just said.
Yep. Right. There's humanist. There are just people who look to science more than anything else, and then don't consider themselves to be atheists per se. I mean, I completely agree with you, Shane. It's like, for me, all I want to do is, it's kind of what Matt Dillahunty said, I want to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible.
Well,
and you engage in a skepticism.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I also want to engage in humanism, where I'm trying to put forth the best thing for humans as a whole, and not just humans, animals as well. But I mean, I think that's each person has their own philosophy. It's not like there's a unifying thing.
The only
atheism at this point.
The only distinction I was going to make, though, is I've heard a few people credit Dillahunty with the, believe as many true things as possible and few false things as possible. The problem I have with that is the general premise of skepticism, and skepticism's been around for a long time. Oh, do we have a caller?
Many true things as possible and few false things as possible.
Somebody.
The problem I have with that is
I'm getting an echo.
Premise of skepticism.
Yep, I am too.
Was that Oz? I don't know. I was just going to say that's the premise of skepticism, and skepticism's been around for thousands of years. So it's kind of like I've heard people credit the guy Cy Ten Bruggencate with the brain in a vat thing. Like I've heard people bring up the brain in a vat and refer to it as the Cy Ten Bruggencate brain in a vat. But like I'm reading books that are like over 100 years old that bring up similar problems of mind-body problems, but books from like 2000, 2006 that talk about specifically a brain in a vat. So I feel like a lot of people, when they hear an idea, they credit the first person they heard it from with the idea. When it comes to like philosophy, skepticism, etc., I think we should be careful to do that, because a lot of it is just we're continuing to get ideas out there, Like I really hope that.
We do have somebody on hold here. So
we do. Cool. Let's.
Yep. So we have. Let me pull the banner back up here. Where'd it go? And I said that, and this didn't save. Let me get the caller's name on here and position, and then we'll rock and roll. All right. So we have Frank. Frank is a theist, And Frank, can you hear us?
So we have
Frank, you'll have to mute your YouTube.
Frank is a theist. And Frank, can you hear us?
Yes, I think.
So we have Frank, you'll have to mute your YouTube. Frank is a theist.
All right.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, you are live with Oz, Sonny, Dr. Josh, and Shane. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I guess I'm supposed to talk about theism. I called in. Seems like you guys are having a pretty deep intellectual discussion going on. What's everybody feeling about the UFO disclosure today?
I don't know what was disclosed today, but I have a pretty good feeling that there is probably a flying object that people can't identify, and that some people are concluding that since they can't identify what it is, it was most likely therefore aliens. That's what I would guess, just based off of my previous examples of people talking about UFOs.
Right. And so how do we identify it then?
Well, that's the thing. A UFO, by definition, is unidentified.
Right. So you don't feel anything one way or the other about that?
I feel like the most plausible explanation for some hovering craft that we are unable to identify is that it was made by some human on Earth. Again, if I don't know what it is, I can't 100% conclusively say that, but it seems significantly more likely, for example, like if it was some Russian or Chinese craft that we had never heard of or seen. I think that is a much more likely explanation than life outside of Earth. What it would take for some life from some other galaxy to enter into our galaxy, be able to be on our planet. I mean, it's so unlikely that there's no good reason to think aliens.
So you think demons?
I think demons are even less plausible. No, I don't think demons.
Angels?
We're getting less plausible as we go. No, I'm kidding. Angels and demons are equal, but
Okay.
but no, I don't think I don't think anything supernatural. Again, I think that something was flying and people weren't able to identify what it was, and
Simply
there's no big paradigm change coming.
a paradigm change.
Yeah.
What?
Paradigm. Paradigm.
Yeah, what's this paradigm change?
Nobody sees that coming with all this news.
What?
Paradigm change.
Yeah, what about it? What are you talking about?
Well, nobody sees that as a possibility. I mean, we're talking about religion, I guess, theist, non-theist. Is there any paradigm change coming with possible visitors from another world?
I find that highly unlikely.
I think as soon as we determine that there is actually some type of life, outside of Earth, then we can start looking at that. Until then, we can only go with what we know to be a part of reality. And I think that there very well may be life on other planets, in other galaxies and so forth, but the chance of them coming to us is so slim that until it's shown, I mean, it's ridiculous to speculate on that. It's something, those things that were shown as unidentified flying objects are just that, unidentified. And to It's the same thing as saying, I don't know. I don't know is the best answer until we have some type of evidence to tell us what it is. That's
Right.
just
It's the same kind of logic that somebody uses when they don't understand how something in their house moved from one place to another, and they conclude that it was ghosts because they don't know how it happened. The whole point of not knowing how it happened is you don't know how it happened. It shouldn't be, I don't know, therefore ghosts, or I don't know, so it was probably aliens, or I don't know, so it was probably a god. And yet this is actually a really common way of thinking. When people aren't able to make any conclusion, they tend to posit one, and it's not even like what they think is the most plausible one. They just come up with, well, I don't know what did it, so God, or I don't know what did it, so ghosts or aliens. And I don't know, it's just kind of bizarre to me that somebody can say there was a UFO knowing that the U stands for unidentified, and in the same breath say that that's why they think there are aliens.
Well, that's a good point. But is not knowing an excuse to never have an opinion?
No. I mean, you can have opinions about things being plausible without having evidence of them existing. So it's kind of like Sonny said, and I would actually agree with it. I think it's overwhelmingly likely that of all of the planets that exist and all the other galaxies, all the universes, etc., there's probably life on one of them, at least. Like, there's probably more life than just on ours. I just find it also highly unlikely that any of that life would be close enough to us and be able to enter into our galaxy. I mean, space is pretty fucking scary and bizarre. There's a lot of shit out there that it's like, how do you fly a craft through that? There's I would look into something called the Great Filter. It better explains, why if there are other, if there are other intelligent beings, why it's significantly unlikely that we would ever encounter them. So I mean, yeah, it's okay to have an opinion one way or the other, but when people start saying they think aliens interacted with Earth, they're positing an explanation for something that they know happened, and that's that there was an unidentified flying thing. So that's where I'm coming from with that.
right. It's the difference between saying maybe it's this and maybe it's that, and saying it was this or it was that. You can say it maybe all you want. I just stop at the point where I make any kind of a claim. I won't make a claim unless I can back it up with some type of verifiable evidence. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably going to hold off until I see a blue police box. That's where I'm at.
Oh, I see a what?
A blue police box. That'll do it for me.
Blue police.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah, that's on the highway, isn't it?
Well, it's bigger on the inside, so.
Okay.
Has lots of different doctors.
Nobody wants to go there, and nobody wants to think that there's a being that's more intelligent than us. I mean, nothing would piss us off more to confront an alien intelligence.
Yeah, but I don't even think we have to look to aliens. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are species of whales that are smarter than us. They're at least smarter than me. There at least are whales that are smarter than me. I don't know about humans in general, but
yeah, there you go, talking about whales again. Yeah, it must be one of those perverts.
8.5 feet.
It goes back to the ocean. But what is smart? What is smart? Is smart talking without words? Is smart reading your intelligence without knowing what you're saying?
There's no agreed upon definition of intelligence. That's one of the things that makes it so tricky, is if you want to figure out whether or not somebody is smart, it's like you don't even really have a definition that's very clear to begin with. So you kind of have to figure out based off of your linguistic intuition, like, who better comports with this understanding I have of it. And that's one of the things that people don't realize is if you're stupid, you probably don't know it. So I'm thinking about it, and it's like,
brilliant.
What's that?
Stupid is brilliant sometimes. People that are autistic say some of the most brilliant things I've ever heard.
But
Okay,
autistic people are not stupid. I mean, you're conflating
Exactly. But
totally
we-
wrong
we
things
call it
there.
But you just said
great
stupid is brilliant, and then to follow that up, you said autistic people say smart things. Like it seems like you were just calling autism stupidity, and you realize that there
No,
are
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
for sure. Well, I mean, it's fine. I understand it was just
a word.
a mistake. Because I'm autistic, and I think it's important that people recognize that some people are so set on getting this point out that autistic people are not automatically stupid that they seem to imply that they are automatically smart. And I would go a step further in saying whether or not someone's autistic is irrelevant of whether they're stupid or smart. So there are such thing as people who are autistic and stupid, and there are such things as people who are autistic and smart. I can't know if I'm either smart or stupid. I at least know that I'm autistic, and I can at least, I don't know, observe that. But
that's quantum thinking. It's quantum physics. It's quantum thinking. It's true and not true at the same time. That's what I call
what
it.
quantum physics and true and not true. What are we talking? Okay, something can't be true and not true at the same time because that violates the law of non-contradiction.
That's what.
Am I getting trolled, or are you being okay?
Yeah, that's just being
No,
trolled.
I'm not trolling you.
Ridiculous.
I'm not trolling you.
What did quantum physics have to
told
do
you.
with it?
Quantum thinking.
What is quantum thinking?
Says it can be true and not true at the same time.
No,
That's-
nothing can be true and not true at the same time. Violates one of the logical
I think we are
absolutes.
really getting somewhere with this call. That's what I think. Really getting somewhere.
We have dove way down into some muck right there.
Hey Frank, we have a couple that people here that need to get to work, take care of some family stuff. So we're not running from you. Next time we're live, please call back in. We can continue this.
I mean, I'm running. Let's be straight. I'm running.
Things can be true and not true.
All right, Frank.
Oh my gosh.
Again, thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Please call in. We'll be back live with our next call-in show on Monday night. Please call back in, and we can do that. And we appreciate you calling. But I want to respect our guest time and make sure that they get out of here to take care of their own personal business. So thank you very much for calling. And please, we will be live at 9 p.m. Eastern time Monday, and we'd love to chat with you.
I just want to answer a question. Somebody said, "How smart are you for continuing this conversation?" I would say not very. But see.
Yep. Yeah, I want to make sure we respect everybody's time here. So we're going to wrap it up. I know a couple have to go off to work, take care of family stuff. So, Sonny, if you want, I'm going to go to Discord. If you want to join me,
All right.
you're more welcome. I do want to point out, Shane, did you see that my globe's bigger than yours?
Well, mine's prettier.
And I have Lucifer.
Oh my goodness.
I have Lucifer. You don't have Lucifer.
No, I'll keep my puppy. You keep your snake.
Oh, I have a puppy too. I like the snake.
Good.
But so one last time here before we go, Dr. Josh, if you guys are not familiar with him, he just released a book. It's called The Atheist Handbook, Old Testament. And Dr. Joshua Blood. And there's volume 1. What's that mean, Sonny?
That means it's going to be number 2.
Number 2 is coming. So before we jump off, Dr. Josh, anything you'd like to say before you go, sir?
Really looking forward to October. It's going to be a really good time. And hopefully, not sure, but hopefully the audiobook will be out by then. So trying to get that done. So that should be good.
Are you doing the audio for the audiobook?
I'm gonna just kind of keep that quiet for the time being because I'm not 100% sure how it's gonna work out. I wanna, but it should be good. I will say that it should be good.
Okay.
Cool. And then, Sonny, anything that you'd like to say before we Peace out.
I just want everyone to be looking for our Better conference because we are so excited. We're working hard. We're going to have some great people there. So October 9th, be looking to come to Indiana, be a part of it.
Yep, here it is real quick. I won't spend long. October 9th and 10th, we have Seth Andrews, this Dr. Josh guy that likes to write books, T-Jump, Anthony Magnabosco, Cynthia McDonald, Dave Warnock, and I have another one in the back pocket that I'm negotiating with to see if we can make that happen. But it's going to be in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And
is it President Obama? Because that would be really cool.
Awesome.
No, it's not.
Damn.
Nope.
President Trump?
God, fucking no. But yeah, you want to be there, and we just finalized on our location today, and it's badass. It's badass. You're not going to believe it. So ticket prices and all that will be released on July 10th, and we'll have in-person tickets. And for those that live overseas, I've had people contact me, and they're like, and they're like,
Snake is trying to get in on the action there.
he likes me. Like how do we participate? Like we can fly all the way over there. So we're gonna do some live feeds for those that
That's freaking me out. Oh my god. He's gonna like latch onto your cheek or something.
That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the strike. That's what it's
he loves me. He loves me. But yeah, just be there. My snake is distracting from my announcement. So I will stop, but yeah, we'll all be there. We're going to be hanging out. It's going to be a great time. And until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Peace out. Love y'all.
Turn it up. What up? Yeah. Grab your chair, put up a seat, yeah. Welcome to the Atheist Round Table. We just the dudes that you knew for poking holes in all these fables. Yeah. See, we're just some atheists that got questions like, why does God kill babies with cancer? Hopefully, you can bring some answers. We'll sit back and take notes. Go ahead. Welcome to the Atheist Round Table. Welcome to the Atheist Round Table. Okay. Turn it up.